final count by your. Thank you.
Well, good evening, Wabash. I'm Professor McKinney, Professor of Math and Computer Science at Wabash College. And tonight we have a very special event. Instead of doing a lame pencil and paper final exam, my CS101 students are going to be showing off their video game projects. So we used three different video game tools. We used MakeCode Arcade, which allows for visual scripting or JavaScript and Python. We used Scratch, which is visual coding only, and we used the programming environments that are built into the Minecraft Educational Edition, where you can program either in block code, which is fitting, of course, given that it's Minecraft, and you can also program in Python or JavaScript. So we're going to spend about 5 minutes or so on each student's project, and they're going to be streaming them on Discord. And then I will be piping that to the stream. Of course, we've got the stream chat, and it looks like we have Professor Sarah Drury is joining us this evening. Let's give a warm CS101 welcome to Sarah Drury. Yay. Okay. So we'll spend about 5 minutes with each of the students, and I'll introduce them and get the stream going, and for each student, and we'll just have some fun. So love to hear your feedback. If you're on, if you have a Twitch user account, then you can post in the Twitch chat, and we'll be able to see that. The students are all monitoring the Twitch chat on other devices like their phone or their tablets. And of course, I've also got my illustrious moderation partner, my sister Caitlin, is joining us. Um, yeah. So Dr. Drury does want to know, though, is there a period for cross-examination? And that she's only halfway kidding with that. So yeah, so if those of you in the chat have questions for our students, then feel free to type them there, and I'll prompt the students if you've got a question or two that looks like it's fitting. And now it looks like we also have the one, the only, the Dr. Denarii, um, the illustrious faculty member from economics, Professor Dunaway. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So our first project will be by Tomas Hidalgo, and when I go to each student, they're going to give themselves a brief introduction, tell you who they are, where they're from, what their major and their minor is. We've got everything from freshmen to seniors in this class, studying everything from computer science to theater, and so we've got quite the group, and we're really looking forward to hearing y'all's comments on the projects. So without further ado, let's go ahead and switch it over to Tomas.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tomas Hidalgo. I'm a senior from Indianapolis, and I'm majoring in philosophy and creative writing. Can everyone hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah, I think we're good on the audio, and I'm
Awesome.
just going to switch over
Um,
the stream.
so, okay. Well, a fun fact about me while that's going on is that I originally took this course because I'm very interested in writing for video games in the future as a career, but I know very little about programming, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to pick up some of those traits. This right here is my game. I made it on Scratch, The Adventures of Harold the Necromancer, and this is a part of a larger RPG project that I've been working on. So it ended up being a little too long to show all of it, but I'll be showing you guys a quick demo of some of the core mechanics. To just quickly summarize the concept so you guys aren't completely confused, it's about this guy right here, Harold, says hi. who is a necromancer who woke up undead. So I'm going to skip ahead to when Harold has been kicked out of his castle because no one recognizes him and is on the search for some powerful artifacts to try and fight his way back in. So here we go. Pretty standard movement, WDS. So I was only able to program around 3 moves for this combat. You type them in here, and we see what he does. Someone's a little guy to protect him. And that time he took no damage because it's your stereotypical guard attack. And then time to fight back.
So it looks to me like this was inspired by Final Fantasy Battle.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting point because I was going to talk about the combat as a challenge that I was trying to overcome because I wanted it to be kind of like a hack and slash where Harold would attack and that would knock back the enemy, and the enemy would just be constantly trying to path into Harold to damage him. But the screen size in Scratch is limited, so the only way I could give them enough room to maneuver would be to shrink down the sprites, and at that point you can't see much of anything. So I'll probably go ahead and end the demo here because at this point it starts to just be a bunch of dialogue boxes because I'm really more comfortable with writing witty dialogue, clearly. But yeah, as I was saying, the combat was kind of tricky to figure out because Scratch can really only do one thing at once, but it tries to make you believe it can do multiple. So a lot of times, such as when at the beginning of this scene where the wolf is pacing and then tries to path into Harold to begin the combat, it kind of glitches out a little bit because Scratch is going back and forth very quickly trying to do both those things at once, and it just can't. So what I ended up doing was using what Scratch calls these broadcasting messages to kind of send one message and then respond to it multiple times to try to like narrow down that difference. So yeah, a lot of the issues I ran into actually came from the limitations of Scratch, or more accurately, the limitations of myself being unable to use anything besides Scratch. One thing like that was Scratch can only handle a certain number of sprites, so when I put too many in, it started crashing. So I kind of had to chop things together to make them work. Yeah, and then one last thing I'm really proud of in this game, although it may not sound like it, are actually the sprites and the sound effects. Because again, Scratch has a limited supply of those assets. So for a lot of this game, I had to make my own or patch them together, which, I mean, they kind of ended up looking a little patchy and sounding less than ideal, but it was still really cool for me because I've had no experience with soundscaping or drawing or stuff like that. And I was able to, get things on screen to move the way I wanted them to. So that was a lot of fun. At that point, I can open it up to questions if there are any.
How did you make your backdrop?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How did you make your background of that scene I'm looking at?
This one right here? This is
Yes.
one of the pre-made Scratch images. I had to size it to get it to feel right. And then I drew the path in here. I originally wanted to have the combat take place kind of in a Fire Emblem way, like in a separate little screen where you see the two of them on their standalone platforms. But that didn't end up working out.
And we've also got a question from the audience on Twitch. So Professor Drury asks, does Harold, quote, know that he's a necromancer from the beginning of the game? And or do you envision in this or future iterations Harold or the user would gradually gain understanding?
So Harold is aware that he's a necromancer, and I actually wrote a prologue to this game, which kind of covers this. He knows he's a necromancer, but doesn't really understand what's wrong with that. So he's kind of hunted by other human societies, which is why he has to live out in this castle in the middle of the woods. But then he went to sleep and woke up as a lich, so that comes with its own host of problems.
Yeah, and it's interesting that question, Professor Drury, because this is actually part 2 of a series that Tomas has made. He made the first part before he was even in this class, and
Mhm.
then basically made a sequel for his project.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a interesting. I've never had a student do that before.
Although, admittedly, the first one was mostly text boxes and cutscenes, because most of what I know is how to make story. But I'm really passionate about making video games, so here I
Yeah.
am.
All right. Well, let's give it up for Tomas. Off to a great start. So we'll go back to our um, sort of please wait screen, and we'll move on to our next student, which is Henry Egan. So Henry, go ahead and go live, and we'll switch the input source. There we go, and
All
let me
right.
full screen that. All right, and let's. Now we're in Henry, and Henry. Like I said in the introduction, there were 3 different platforms that the students could choose to make a game in: Minecraft Education, Scratch, or MakeCode Arcade. And so Henry will start us off with the first Minecraft game. So Henry, take it away.
All right. Hello. Everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, I think you were good on the audio.
All right. So my name is Henry Egan. I'm a junior here at Wabash, and I study English literature with minors in Asian studies and gender studies. And for my project, I did a Lucky Block mod. This is something I had seen on YouTube when I was a kid. Um, so I just wanted to try my hand at recreating that. Show you the code. Reset this. So here's the code. I just made it in this Minecraft block code system. So the concept, how it works is move out here. You have gold blocks, and then I programmed it so when one of them breaks, it randomizes a group of possibilities and then chooses one of them and does that. So there's good things, there's bad things, there's weird things that can happen. So that one was chicken rain, and then some of them one drops one of these guys on you. Anvils falling, a bunch of spiders. That one makes a little snow biome. All those. I think I programmed around 20 or 30 different options in here. We got the Wabash Boys fights letters. Yeah, I think that about covers it. I guess the main challenge for it was really just figuring out how to get the random number generator to work properly when I break a block in this, because the make code is a little limited. But other than that, I was really just trying to be creative with options.
All right. Do we have any questions from our audience or classmates? Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah. So this was one of the first Minecraft projects, and we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next one. Um, So let's see. So next on our list is Ethan Pine. And this is sort of fitting that the first three projects have used all three of the different platforms that were available to the students, so that you can get a sense for what they could do. So yeah, so Ethan, go ahead and let's get your
All
stream
right.
going.
Yeah.
All right, and
Um,
let me switch it over just 1 second. Okay, take it away, Ethan.
yeah. So, my name is Ethan Pine. I'm also a junior here at Wabash. I'm a rhetoric major and minoring in film and digital media. I'm from Green. It's about an hour south of here. And so, yeah, I mean, basically, this project has kind of been like a combination of things that I've always kind of wanted to do. Making like 8-bit and old video games, kind of what I love. So this was definitely awesome. And so basically, this is like a dungeon crawler, like in the style of the original Legend of Zelda. That was like my main inspiration for this, but I definitely wanted to have like a Wabash kind of twist to it. So this is like with the tunnels and being Wally Wabash. So if I go through here, you find that there's a brick, and then you press on it, and a door appears, and you're able to go into the legendary tunnels. And so basically, you're Wally Wabash running around, and as most people know, there's squirrels, and squirrels are kind of an interesting character to watch. And so I think one of the biggest challenges that I had was um, really like defeating the enemies, because all of these are clones of an initial one. So I basically had to code um, one initial like squirrel and clone them all. And initially, my code, you could only kill the first one, and then after that, they would just kill you uncontrollably, and I couldn't do anything about it. And so I realized that I had to use like an array function in my code. And so really quick, I'll show you. So like there's up here this lever, but before I do that, I'll show if I run over here, there is a door here that's locked, and so obviously you can't go through it now. If I run back, press the lever, the door is opened. I can run over here, and there's now a new door. So you can actually hit it and you win. And so yeah, and I think what I'm most proud of with this is animation sequences for it. Like, I think a lot of the programming came not easy, but a lot easier because there are some tutorials and things on make code to really help you like understand what you're actually doing, how to do all that. But the animation, I had to draw each of those sprites by hand, and so that kind of took the longest time. And also is kind of where I'm interested most is like in the visuals and things of the game.
All right. Do we have any questions from our audience or our classmates for Ethan? And looks like we've got another guest joining us. The illustrious Tom Runge, class of 1850, is here. Okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and keep going then. So next on our list is Evan Knetkar. So Evan, why don't you take it away?
Hello. Can you see
Oh,
my screen or?
oh, you just
I what?
let me do it again. Okay, go for it.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So, hello. My name is Evan Knetkar. I'm a freshman, and I'm planning on majoring in computer science. I'm from Newburgh, and a fun fact about me is that I'm an Eagle Scout, which is also just relevant to this because that was kind of what inspired my project. And as an overview, it's just you're playing a character who's going camping with a group of strangers, and since you're new, they decide to pull a prank on you. And the prank is they hide all the materials to build s'mores around the forest, and you have to go find them. And the thing is, if you don't find them, and if you just choose to leave, they end up dying, which is it's just like a funny thing I added. But you have to go find them, and then there are these little challenges that you have to complete in order to get each one. So I'm just gonna click through these. This is the explanation I basically gave you.
Switch your window because we all we can see is Discord. Yeah, there you go. Change window.
There's not really another option.
Um, please wait one moment, everyone. We are having our first technical difficulties of the evening.
It's always me.
Yeah, all right. Let's try it again. Hit cancel.
I'm gonna stop streaming and restart 1 second.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Why is there only one screen option?
Why don't we go ahead and move on, and Evan, will come back to you in a minute. Try quitting Discord and starting it back over.
All right.
All right. So sorry about that, everybody. Let's switch over. Next on our list is Owen Runge. So Owen, let's see what you've got.
Hello.
Go ahead and start streaming for us.
Yep. Streaming right now.
All right, there we go.
All right, there we go. All right. My name is Owen Runge. I'm a freshman from Virginia, and probably going to be majoring in computer science. And I decided to make duck hunt in Minecraft for my project. So, let's see. Is it switched over to Twitch?
Yes, it is. You're
All
live.
right. So go in. I wrote the entire program in Python, actually. Press start, and then type in play. It builds the entire arena, and then starts the game. It goes through and it gives you all the rules. You kill the ducks, which are just chickens, and get a certain number of arrows. There's 3 levels. It just goes through. Job is to kill them. And if you kill all the ducks within the given amount of arrows, then you move on to the next level. So if you miss, just like that. There we go. Let's say, all right. Go through. Final level is 15 ducks with 15 arrows, so you cannot miss or else you lose.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah, right. There you go. Just like that. And then if you want to play, you, of course, type in play again. Biggest challenge I faced in this was actually getting the program to end. There's not really an exit sequence where if I lose, then I just exit the program. So I had to create a complex loop of, or nested loop of conditionals, where if I completed the level, then I would move on, and if I didn't, then I would not.
So what made you decide to do duck hunt?
I was really looking for a classic game that was easy enough to program, but also still fun to play in Minecraft. And they're also had to work with the limitations of make code in Minecraft. So this is the one I settled on.
Yeah, because there's one of the things that a lot of us had trouble with was what you can and what you can't do with MakeCode in Minecraft. It was a little bit more limiting than I think we were all expecting, and Owen noticed that there was an event called On Arrow Shoot that you could use to determine things. So that's what kind of made it all work on the back end.
Yep.
Okay. Do we have any questions from our audience? We got a comment from Dr. Dunaway. He says that this is giving him Ocarina of Time levels of anxiety. And Dr. Drury asked, do the ducks come out in a random sequence? And if so, how does that work with the code?
They do come out in random positions. So there's a field inside the box in which they come out. And basically the way I did that was I created a random spawn position. There's actually a function built into MakeCode where you can create a random spawn position. And so it's in between there.
Can you fly over or go over to the arena and show everybody what that looks like?
Sure. So this is the arena. Spawn position is from this block all the way over to this block right here.
Okay.
So it's in between that space where you can.
And what's the thing in the top right there?
This is supposed to emulate the sun. I was also going to try to add a tree in here, but that was not working. Too complicated. So I did not get to do that.
Okay, great. All right, well, let's keep on moving on. Let's see if we have Evan, if we can get his working again.
All right.
Evan, are you back with us, man?
Yeah. Yeah, but the only screen option I'm able to share is this screen, which is weird. I don't know why. Let me try sharing my entire screen to see if that works. But there's a bunch of different options that it gives me. All right. Wait, wrong way. There.
There
Can you
we
see
go.
it, or-
Yes, now we're good. Yeah.
All right.
All right,
so
that's exactly what we were looking for. So
all right.
let's
We're running.
yeah. So start over from scratch because it looks like we've got a couple of new people joining us. Internet user random, hello, and Dr. Gates is also with us. All right, so go ahead, Evan.
All right. Well, my name is Evan Knetkar. I'm a freshman, and I'm planning to major in computer science from Newburgh. And a fun fact about me is that I'm an Eagle Scout, which is kind of what inspired this theme of the project, camping. So, as an overview, my project is about a character who you're playing who goes camping with a group of strangers. The group of strangers decide to play a prank on him, in which they hide the materials to make s'mores around the forest, and you are told to go find them. And if you don't find them and you leave, they end up dying. And so you have to do it. And in order to do them, there are like 3 different mini games that you have to solve or play in order to get each material. And there are also different ways that you can die. And so yeah, let's just get into it. And I'm gonna skip through this part just because I just went over it. So yeah, and just for example, if you leave in forest, all the other players die of starvation, and then you lose the game if that happens. So you can see right here at the bottom, there's the bear, which signifies the first point. And so like for this level, you have to make it through this maze, and you can die from the lava or the bear, and the bear is like throwing objects, which are just for humor's sake, or larger than life cannolis. And once you get to this point, you get your first material, which is graham crackers. And this black screen was here because one of the problems I ran into is that I was not able to make sure that the cannoli wouldn't stay on this specific screen. So I had to put that black screen to give it time to go off, or else you could have possibly died and it would have glitched really weird. And so then the next part is a cave that is completely dark and it flashes at the beginning. So you have to kind of memorize what it looks like
And of course, I have it memorized because I've done this many times, although I still, again, mess up because my memory is not that good. But so then you have to find your way through the cave. And once you get to this point, you get the next material. And there's really just one level left. But I just want to point this out right now. One of the cool things I really liked about this was I made the choice to add a little Easter egg, which is right here. It's a little telescope, and upon coming in contact with this sprite, you essentially look through it, and then you look on the moon. And what this is like a reference to one of the first Easter eggs which was made. And right here, like, if you go up to it, it shows my name. It says created by Evan, and it's just a reference to was Warren Robinette, the creator of the very first Easter egg in the game Adventure, which was on the Atari in 1979. So
Yeah,
I'm not going
Atari
to go to it.
2600. That's a classic.
Yes, and I'm not going to go to it because it adds a point to your score, and I don't want to have have the high score being that, because so then when people go on there they can see it. But actually, you know what? I'll just do it. See, you go up here and you click on it, and it shows and I thought this was really cool because I had to draw this whole thing out, and one time it actually didn't save, so that was incredibly frustrating.
And then you had to do it again.
Yes, I did.
Womp womp.
And then so the last level is you're presented with 3 chests, and behind one is death, and behind another is life, and then the third is the marshmallow. So basically, if you choose a death one, you die. And if you only have one life, then you just like lose the game, which is like an interesting gamble. And then the extra life could be like that life-saving thing for you. So if the second chest that you choose ends up being death, you're saved from that. But I'm just gonna go through like the life one real quick. You found a marshmallow, and then you can return to camp, and you win the game. And really, one of the challenging parts of this game was that for the cannoli, it was just really hard making that enemy character for that one certain level, because I originally started with the bear moving, but if I died, it would go back to the screen and the bear would be moving again. If I clicked on him, I would die and I wouldn't be able to get back there. So I had to switch it to it just respawning inside the little level. And then again, there's a problem with the cannoli just staying on the screen, so I had to give that black screen time, and that was just a really frustrating thing. I spent really several hours just coming to the final conclusion of having that black screen, which was really something I'm still not really happy with, but it was what I could do given the limitations of this myself and the software. So yeah,
All right,
and
great. Do we have any
that's
questions
it.
from our audience or on Twitch or anybody in the class?
I have one. Ethan does.
Go ahead, Ethan.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How did you program it to like where you have like the upper map, and then like as you go over those, you go into like smaller maps? I think that's really cool. It reminds me a lot of like the newer like Mario games.
Yeah, I can actually, I'll just show you. There's this thing on the code called on sprite of kind player overlaps with another sprite. You can, but when that happens, you can change the background and then set the tile map. Like for example, it shows this tile map, which is the maze. So like once you go over that, it'll transfer you to another place, and then so you can have it that after you overlap with another object in that certain map, it'll go back to like the main screen, which is what I had happen. So
Gotcha.
does that
That's
answer
really
your
cool.
question?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. So great. Let's switch over next to let's see who's next on the list. Christian Miller. Go ahead and start your stream, and we'll switch over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Miller. I'm a senior. I'm majoring in rhetoric with a double minor in French and business. One thing about me is I like to cook a lot. A lot of people know me around campus for wanting to be a chef. For my game, I made like a 3-level platformer, and you have a projectile of a shark, and your enemies are ghosts. And so basically, you just have to kill the enemies as you proceed to try to get into the end goal of winning the game. It's not really difficult. One of the cool things I liked about this was it kind of really reminded me of like the Game Boy style games that I played when I was younger. I really grew up on those, especially playing like Pokemon and stuff like that. One one of the challenging things for me was trying to get the ghost to cooperate accordingly. Making sure, even though you saw it just now, like sometimes the projectile will hit a ghost and it won't die, but sometimes it will. It was like a weird glitch, and so I had to work on that. Other than that, I think one thing that I wish I was able to figure out, but it was really hard for me to understand, I couldn't get the music to work in the coding. Like no matter where I put it or try to start it up at, if I put the music in there, it would mess up the code somewhere else. So I ended up just going out without it, adding sounds to the projectiles as they go. But that was it for my project. And thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, great. All right. So do we have any questions for Christian? Let's see. Anybody from the Twitch stream? Yeah, so I'll just add one of the interesting things that we discovered about MakeCode since we started all of this is that there are several companies that actually make physical like little microcontrollers built on um, simple circuits, and so you can buy and build basically a small handheld battery-powered device that you can offload your game from MakeCode onto, and they look almost exactly like old classic Game Boys. I wish I would have known that about 2 months ago, because I would have tried to get a hold of them. I think that would have been a lot of fun for us to use. All right, well let's keep this gravy train running. So next we have Charlie Kennett.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you great. Go ahead and get your stream going, and we'll switch over.
All right, let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, looks good, and you are now on Twitch.
All right, so my name's Charlie Kennett. I'm a sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana. And a fun fact about me is that I love Harry Potter, and I also love Star Wars. So really any movie series I'm a big fan of. And the idea of my project is, we have this cat here, and he's lost in space, and aliens are trying to kill him. And he's on his 9th life. So, how cats have 9 lives, whatever, that cliche. So the idea is that you have these balls coming at him that are going to kill him. There's only 2 outcomes. You either so I hit the ball there, game over. And if I hit any of them, it's going to project that and buzz it off. And the same goes with the rocket ship, which we'll show in a second. So you just keep hurdle. It's kind of like hurdles, and then you have to click the right arrow here. But if you don't, the rocket also kills the cats. And, the other outcome is just if he is able to successfully dodge all of these. I'll show you in a minute. Very simple, most likely for children. I decided that afterwards, though. Oh, God. I wasn't supposed to get out of the way there.
Yeah, so while he's hopefully dodging the rocket, I'll just add that Scratch and MakeCode, but Scratch especially, are... Oh, there we go, you won. Awesome.
So there we go. Go ahead, though, Professor.
Yeah, so Scratch and MakeCode, and of course Minecraft, all of these platforms are designed for children, and so what part of the assignment that all of the guys had was that the game had to be, in terms of content and difficulty, something that would be appropriate for elementary or middle school age children. In previous semesters, when we've done this sort of project, instead of doing the live stream, we actually take a bunch of computers over to the Carnegie Museum of Montgomery County and invite third through sixth graders from throughout the county to come and play the games. Obviously, with the pandemic, we couldn't do that, so the Twitch stream was the next best thing. All right, great. Any questions from our audience or from the folks at home?
Well, I will comment one more thing. The difficulty I had with this, I want to thank you, Professor, because I mean, I was spending hours trying to get the correct. I had like the ball and the rockets. Whenever it touched my sprite, the cat, I was unable to, like, it wouldn't project game over and trigger that response. But it turns out I just had to add a forever loop or a repeat loop, and that got the job done. So.
Okay, my sister is commenting. She's helping us with moderation on the Twitch chat, just in case we get a robot or some idiot. She says that jump puzzles in games still elude her. Yeah, and I can definitely agree with that. Having been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed lately, face planting. So, all right, well let's keep going. So next on our list is Ahmad Hill.
Hey everybody, can you hear me?
Yeah,
all right?
Well, you sound great. Go ahead and get your stream going.
That's good. Okay. So can everybody see this all right?
They can now.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so I'm Ahmad Hill. I'm a theater major here, business minor here. I'm originally from Alabama, Brent, Alabama, a really small town. And a little bit about me is I actually have two children, two sons at home. One is 1.5, and the other is 3 weeks now. So basically, when I decided to make this project, when I decided to make my mine in scratch, I just wanted to keep in mind that maybe one day I'll be able to make some games with my son or something, or he'll be able to play the game, something like that. So I wanted to keep it simple, but not like too simple like that. So basically, we got Kitty Maze. And so after the introduction song, you can see it's just a regular typical maze. The objective is to all of the dogs. So the dogs do damage. I'll show you how they do damage. The reason that the cat has 4 lives because it's more like health. So the longer you touch the dog, the more health goes down. So the objective is to just dodge it. And I play this a lot of times, so I pretty much know the whole way to get through it. I know a lot of these dogs are pretty useless, but yeah, a challenge I had to overcome was pretty much getting the cat inside of there and having them be able to not go through the walls because early stages in the game I actually could like run through certain points and then it'd just literally like get me to the objective whenever I wanted to, however I wanted to. So yeah, but that was just a challenge I had. But I actually watched a YouTube tutorial. I cited it inside of the description of the game. And yeah, it just kind of really helped me out. Basically in Scratch, I had to make it so the cat can't go through the color black. So he can't really go through any of that, but any other color he can just run through it. So yeah, and actually it's just really one level. So once you get to the finish line and you get to your objective, the cat says I win. He gives this little victory shout. Music comes back in, and you get the victory. And so, yeah, it's pretty simple, but I'm just really proud about how I really got it all to come together in the end. I put some dogs at different speed to add some difficulty to it. And yeah, that's pretty much my game. If you have any questions, let me know.
All right, awesome. So we got any questions for Ahmad from our audience? Tom Rangi really likes the maze. He's on a comment on Twitch. And yeah, I didn't realize that you had two sons. It'll be interesting in a few years when they get a little older to see if they can beat your game.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that it's gonna be a little too challenging for them at first. I can get the bragging rights until they get old enough that they're beating me and whatever. So
Yeah. Well, and we'll look forward to the Hill Sons in 18 years, CS101
yes, sir.
in
Walk back
class
always.
of 2038.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So great. Let's move on to our next contestant. We got Andrew Garsich, which I'm sure I mispronounced that. Sorry, Andrew. Go ahead and get your stream going.
All right. Can everyone see that?
We can now. Go for it.
All right. So basically, I made a roller coaster. Please tell me that worked. One sec.
While it's loading that, tell us about who you are, where you're from, what you're studying, etc.
All right. So my name's Andrew Gavridge. I'm a freshman here. Um, I'm completely undecided. And an interesting fact about me is that I'm on the volleyball team and I'm a part of Phi Delt. So basically, that's a roller coaster. I didn't have time to make multiple, but just like a normal roller coaster, it is in a loop, so it'll go around the whole time. And then you can. Oh wait, that went the wrong way, but that's okay. My bad. So basically, with the roller coaster, there's kind of a glitch on one side for some reason where it makes a hill, so you have to go a certain way because it just ends the roller coaster for some reason. So basically, you just go around the whole time like a normal roller coaster, and then you can just keep going around. But it's pretty simple, and that's about it.
So, since this is all powered by redstone torches, can you kind of talk a little bit about how you interface the programming with Minecraft?
Like how I did it.
Yeah.
So basically, what I did is I would make the rail first, and then I would bring my character all the way back and shift left or right, and then I'd put a torch and I'd try to like space them out every 4 or 5 or just however many depending on the route. So like on the hill it's every 1, but then around here it's like every 5. And then my hardest part, as you can see, was making the hill. There's like 40 of them over there. Not that any of them work, but there's a few.
So those were all test hills.
Yeah, it was a little rough, as you can tell. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Minecraft, of course, has some built-in automation that's all powered by Redstone, and fortunately, that was all available in the Education Edition on top of the Code Builder, um, and so we get a roller coaster ride. And now we'll just need Owen to make a fried chicken leg stand to go next to it, like at the state fair or something. Okay, so let's.
Good idea.
Yeah, giant turkey legs or whatever from the state fair. Okay, so Felix, we'll move on to you. Go ahead and get your stream going.
Hey, everybody, can you hear
Yep.
me okay?
Good. Go ahead and start streaming.
Okay, just a sec.
And this will just take a second to load, folks. 1 second.
Mhm.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So my name is Felix Valero. I'm a junior. I'm a biochemistry major, Spanish. I live in Indy, but I'm originally from Venezuela. And fun fact is that I play baseball here. And so my game is pretty simple. You guys can see the character. I can make him go on to the side. And what you have to do is pretty much just eat the apples. There's a monkey following you around. So you have to basically, and not sure you're gonna lose alive. And right after you eat the first apple, I don't know if you guys can see,
Yeah, there's
but
a
mine
monkey.
is barely moving at all. The first apple, you have a timer of 12 seconds, and then you have to go the whole maze pretty much and try to find the apple. And if you don't get there on time, then the game's over. Also, if you lose your last, game's over. And I made it in such a way that the monkey is not as fast as you are, but definitely once he gets into open space, he can run towards you pretty fast. And one thing that I was dealing with is that once, when I set up all the bushes, as you guys can see, put all the bushes in the map, I wanted my character to treat it as a wall. He couldn't go through them. And I just, so same thing for the moment. It was just very challenging just because I had no idea how to do that. Even though I looked everywhere on the screen. Then finally I looked at the wall option, so he could get through it. And yeah, that was a good thing. And then I'll say the other thing that I struggle with is that the monkey spawns very randomly after he gets you the beginning. And he will just spawn right next to you over again and kill you again pretty much. So what I did is I set up tiles. Let me see if I can show them to you guys. That one right there, that's different from just like Annie's, kind of greenish with flowers. And so every time it touches you, it's gonna spawn in either of those 5 tiles that are placed even space throughout the map, and kind of gives you an advantage to get it from the monkey and keep on eating the apples. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, great. Do we have any questions from the class or our audience online? Doesn't look like it. All right, well, great. Let's go on to our next stream, which is Cam Early. So Cam, go ahead and start up your stream, and we'll switch over the view. Ground control to Major Tom. All right, looks like Cam's gotten disconnected. So we'll just take a quick minute here, and I'm gonna switch back to the webcam. So just wanted to remind everybody, if you're just joining us, that these are CS101 final game projects. And oh, there's Cam. Okay, so we'll get you back on in a second. We cannot hear you. It looks like you're muted. Check your audio settings. Okay, so while Cam's fixing his audio, hopefully we can get that functioning. Yeah, so if you've got like and subscribe to the Twitch channel, This is my personal, professional Twitch channel that I've been using to teach class basically since the whole pandemic started. And a copy of the recording of this will upload to the Math and Computer Science YouTube channel. You can find info about us on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page. Just look for Wabash Math and CS. And all right, let's go back and see if we can get Cam going. No on the audio, Cam. And you're not muted. Go in to check your audio settings. All right, Cam, I'll let you do that. Let's actually move on to the next one just to keep this going while you figure that out. So, Coy, why don't we go ahead and go with you next, and then we'll go back to Cam. All right, so can't hear you either, Coy. Oh, you're muted, and that's because I muted you. Okay, unmute. All right, try again, Coy.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. Oh, sorry. It's loading. There it goes. Okay, so let me full screen it and switch it over so that you'll be on Discord. And you're now live, so Coy, take it away.
So, hi everyone. My name is Coy. I am currently in Vietnam. So what you might see over there is actually sunlight. It's 7 a.m. And the interesting part about me is probably that I have an international dive license. So basically, I can go anywhere that accept that and go dive up to 25 meters. So my game here was inspired both by the game of The Floor is Lava and what we used to do here as a folk play in Vietnam. And right now I am calling this game Pathwalker. Okay, finally got that to moving. So to start, going to start here, and that is our little agent. It will automatically spawn on this spot right here and move forward one step. So for now, I have set up an entire track code right here. And if you can see, there's a little blue spot at the end, and that is our end goal. The the objective is to get your agent to that spot, and if your agent by some mere chance stray off the beaten path, it will die immediately and will not respond until you press start. So if I connect this part right here and go and say start again, there we go. It's important to note that I have also coded for the agent to immediately jump if there's a block ahead. But if you say there's a 2 block ahead, 2 block tall like this, it will not start. So say start again. Okay, that's the Vietnamese keyboard. Okay. See? It will be stuck right here, and you have to break this block to help our little agent get over. And because there's no block here, the agent immediately dies. And the fun stuff about this is that you can literally just, put your agent in an infinite loop. Like this. Meow, meow. And it will just keep repeating this loop forever until you break one of these blocks and it just dies. Tragic. So there are actually two biggest challenges for me in this game. In that, the first one of all is trying to figure out how to design the block themselves. So this is actually the only block in the entire game that has the arrows on them, so that the players can actually identify which direction the block is facing. Not all blocks in this game are directional. The second thing is that the direction of the block and the direction of the agent is coded differently in the Minecraft settings. So the agent, like us humans, most of the English speakers anyway, uh, we use and it uses left, right, up, upwards, downwards, forward, and backwards. Those are its direction. It's all relative. But the blocks they use northeast, southwest. So the challenge here is how to get this agent to actually use the northeast, southwest direction and read that instruction on the block themselves. So my solution to kind of to that is that I just kind of skipped it and don't really make the bot move or walk anymore, and just literally right now you see the illusion of it's walking, but it's actually teleporting from place to place. It's not actually walking anymore. It's literally just floating on air, teleporting through these blocks. The second challenge that I have still yet to figure it out yet, it's mostly because of how Minecraft is coded, is that I originally intended this game to be playable on every possible terrain in the Minecraft realm. The problem is that Minecraft has a weird definition about ground level. So you see right here, this is ground level. This is all grass. This is ground level at level 4. But if the block above is not air, and say the block above is actually, hold on. Say this block is sand, then they will still count that this block under here is still the ground floor. So your agent will be stuck within this sand block without being able to move anywhere. The same goes with cave too. Cave to us are subterranean, but to Minecraft, caves are ground level. So by some mere chance, if I just spawn the agent and this starting block at ground level, it will most of the times will be actually underground or even underwater. But that part underwater is actually not that bad because it's still terraneous and you can still walk underwater with certain equipment. But yeah, so that is the entirety of my game. It's actually a bit very long around here, and I don't know if I can actually get my agent over there in time. So I am going to let others finish up for me. Professor McKinney, I'm heading back to stage for you.
All right. Well, thanks, Koi. So Koi's programmed something to program within a game where you program. Yeah, so do we have any questions or comments? Looks like Rob Shook, class of 83, has joined us. And he said that he had a great-grandfather who would cry every time he spoke long distance because he was so overwhelmed at the idea. Rob sitting in Texas watching a program in Crawfordsville being presented by a student in Vietnam would have made his head explode. Yeah, definitely. The internet is a wonderful thing. That we can do this, even though Koi and some of my other students are literally all the way around the globe in daylight. So while the rest of us are in darkness. All right, so awesome. Let's Koi, you can stop your stream and we'll move on. So let's go on to Bryce Adams and see if we're good there. So Bryce, go ahead and get yourself going.
Hello. So, share my screen. Here we go. 5.
And 1 second while it loads.
Wow, xong.
All right. So I am Bryce Adams. I am a where'd you go? Got to run through the game already. So I am Bryce Adams. I am a junior here at Wabash. I actually just transferred from Indiana Wesleyan. I am majoring in history and minoring in education studies. I am from Crawfordsville, Indiana, so I am in fact a townie, and I embrace it every day. So a fun fact about me, I'm on the football team here, and something I want to do after college is I want to be a coach. And so, yeah. And subject is quite simply very simple, where you're just trying to go around, get the ghost.
Bryce, we can't see the game screen. Try restarting your stream.
Right on.
And make sure you select the right window, because you were actually streaming your Discord window.
Oh, hey. Alright.
And I'm loading it now. And yeah, it's still streaming your Discord window.
Change windows right there.
Oh, video's your webcam. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Change window. This is the same problem we were having a minute ago. Yeah, try entire screen.
Entire screen.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
then switch to your web browser or whatever.
Can you see it?
There we go. All right. So that looks like it's...
yeah, like I was saying, this is the game. So I made it to where you're trying to get the ghost. It's very simple. I myself got stuck in it for a while and I didn't realize it, so it's very addicting to an extent. And so I made it to where you have these ghosts just popping up on the screen, and you're using the arrow keys or WASD, whichever one you prefer, to try to go and attack them. And once that happens, I'll turn the sound on. So once that happens, it'll come with the and so I'm trying to dodge these snakes while I'm alive, and I have it projected to where every 30 seconds there's a you get an extra life, and so once you live for 30 seconds, you'll get an extra life, and then something that I struggled with the building of this was trying to make the ghost disappear as soon as I touched them, and so that was kind of something I figured out how to do. I went on YouTube trying to look up a tutorial on how to do that in this game, so it quite simply got figured out for me. And that's kind of the basis of this game, just very simple, very easy to play, and like I said, you can play for a while and get lost. And once you lose all your lives, just like this, it'll pop up with game over, and then like I played earlier at a high score of 32, and so it'll show up your high score, and then once you're done playing, you'll beat that again, and so that's kind of why it's fun to play, because you get trying to beat the high score. So if you guys have any questions about the game, hit me. Any questions? No? They're not. I can't tell if they can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Do we have
so
any questions from our audience or from the class? My sister on the Twitch chat says that they look like ghost pinatas. She thought that was funny.
That's kind of the basis, just make a little bit of fun.
Okay. All right, great. So let's keep going. So next up, Monsieur Nagaba, commencez votre écran, s'il vous plaît.
Ouais, hello, can you hear me?
Oui,
nice.
Je t'écoute.
Merci. Okay, let me. Can you see my screen?
Yep, you are now live.
Okay, good. So before I started, my name is Alex, and I live in Indianapolis, and I'm planning to major in computer science and minor in Asian study. and it's been a long time I've been interested to create a game like this, and I finally did it. It was no like I had a lot of draft that I did, and the challenging part is that I just need to challenge my friend and try to eat so many cars I can. And I have 50 health. When I started, if I eat a wall, my health goes down, and if I eat a car, my health goes down. And also I can change the emoji. If you see how I eat a car, you see a smiley face. Yes, I can also change that and do anything that I can. And the most challenging part was when I first started. The road, like this block, it was kind of like a little messy. Every time when my car hit the wall like this, it's kind of like bouncing and it separated a lot. And I had to remove that and try to play around and watch a lot of videos. And I went on Scratch a lot to see some example over there to use on my code because I couldn't see like a lot of racing game on on my code. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
And yeah, and when you finish, you have a game score, and it also depends. You can challenge your friend by getting a high score, or one of you guys, and something like that.
Okay, très bien.
Merci.
Avez-vous question pour Alex? So Professor Drury has a question. She asks, what made you decide to focus on a car-themed game?
Uh, well, I'm a big fan of fancy cars, and when I first heard you said we would do like a project, and I thought about the racing cars. My first draft that I talked with Thomas, the first one who did a presentation. I was trying to get like two cars, like with two people who can race and to see where like how far they can be, and at some point one of the two players will lose, and I tried that first, but it was not uh it was not successful, and I did try another way, but it was so hard. And I tried my best to come up with something, and yeah, and I just like I had to spawn some enemy cars like in a random shape, left, right, or something like that, and I just like need to move my direction of my own car, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, all right. Well, merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Um, all right, so we'll keep going. We'll move on to next up we have Richard Hall, the famous RT Hall. Let's see. Do we have Richard? Looks like he's connected. Richard, are you with
Yeah.
us? There you go.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I thought my mic sound good.
All right, go ahead and share your screen and get to your game. Right now I'm looking at your Discord window. There you go. All right, so take it away. You're live. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your game. Looks like we may have lost him. RT, are you with us still? Okay, looks like we got some technical difficulties there. Hang on. RT, we can't hear you. No, we still cannot hear you. All right, well we'll keep going while RT figures out why the audio wasn't working. Connor, you're up next, my friend.
Okay, sounds good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
So go ahead and start your stream.
Give me 1 second. Let's see. Shoot, okay. It's saying I might have to quit and come back before this.
Okay, go ahead
Goes
and do
off.
that. Leon, we'll go ahead and go with you next while he gets that sorted out. So next up, Leon Ivy.
Sounds good. Can you hear me?
Yep, yeah, you sound good. Yes, one of the funs of teaching computer science is that, of course, you have to deal with computers by definition, and which, like to not work when you need to.
My game on the screen.
Okay, it's loading for me. So, all right, yeah, looks like we're good. You're good to go.
All right, well, Leon Ivy, I'm a senior. I major in rhetoric and double minor in business and econ. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and interesting thing about me is I'm an avid sports fan and I like to play and see sports as well. So my game is pretty much standard arcade game. Kind of just a loop forever. You move left and right with the arrow keys, collect the donuts, and avoid the lightning bolt.
I think it was on Twitter.
The game gets progressively faster. I didn't change the rate too much of how fast they fall or how many was falling. I wasn't able to figure that out, but it was just kind of to just be a lasting arcade game on like Shoot Field or something like that until you lose and you collect your score and you can play over and over again like that. Challenge in this game, as I was just speaking of, was making sure the items fell in a wide range across the screen. It was all randomized, the way to randomize it, so I wasn't really able to control how wide across the screen. But I'm proud of how the sprite moves. I was having a problem making the legs walk around or making it move fluidly. And I was also proud of being able to get the score because it took me a minute to figure that out. But yeah, that was my game. I didn't take any questions. So.
Yeah, so let's see if we've got any questions from the people on sorry, any of the students or anybody in the Twitch chat. Not seeing anything. All right. So what made you do like lightning and donuts? Just something to be silly, or was there a
Yeah,
particular
this
choice?
was kind of like a lighthearted, fun thing. I was looking throughout the icons that they had on Scratch. I wasn't too aware how to make my own, but I kind of like those anyway. So and chose the donut because they didn't have like any like I don't know chicken bits or something like that.
Hello.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll go back to our loading screen and we'll keep this gravy train going.
Can you hear me, Professor?
Yes, we can. So Professor
Okay.
Drury has one question for you, Leon, which is what is a sprite?
Sprite is the character. So it's really any object you make in the game. So the lightning bolt had its own sprite encode. The donuts is a sprite itself and has its own code, and the line also a sprite. So any object that you throw on the screen in the game is defined as a sprite in Scratch. Thanks for the question.
Yeah. So, and each sprite, this is one of the things that's different about MakeCode versus Scratch versus Minecraft. In Scratch, each sprite has its own set of code, and I think Tomas mentioned this at the very beginning that it makes you think that all of the sprites are running things in parallel, but in fact they're not. It's just it's all running in sequence. So, all right. So thank you for the question, Dr. Drury. All right. Let's see. Let's go on to let's see. Connor looks like he's got his audio back up and running. So Connor, why don't we give you see if we can get it working this time?
Okay.
And now I can hear you great. So I think whatever
Awesome.
you figured it out. All right, you're good to go.
Okay. Sounds good. So my name's Connor Rotterman. I am a senior here, a biology major, and I'm from Fishers, Indiana. And I decided to do my game. I kind of want to do like a mouse accuracy game. So basically the goal of the game is to just click as many balls as possible, which now that I'm streaming, the game is super laggy. But you have a 30-second time frame where you try and click as many balls as possible. And the goal is basically to use this as like a precursor to playing another game where you need your accuracy to be at the best. So that's basically the whole goal of the game, is just to kind of warm up your mouse accuracy. And I'd say the biggest challenge for me was, I struggled with the balls. They would hit the wall and they would kind of like glitch out because there were so many of them. And I had to watch a couple YouTube tutorials in order to kind of smooth that out. But other than that, YouTube was definitely a big help for this. And yeah, that's really about it.
Okay, great. Now my sister says she would use this. So, what kind of games would you want to play that you would use this to warm up your mouse skills?
So for me, either Call of Duty, a long time ago or a couple years ago, it was Fortnite, and then I love playing RuneScape. I don't know if anybody else is a big RuneScape player, but that's been around for a while, and I love playing that as well.
Okay, great. And Dr. Gates says reppin' Fishers. Dr. Gates is also from Fishers.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
So great. All right. Do we have any other questions from the audience or class? See, several people are commenting that they're huge RuneScape fans. I haven't played RuneScape myself, which is probably for the better. All right. So good. We've got Connor done. Let's see. Let's keep going. Ben Cook. We'll go ahead and go to you next.
What's up? 1 second. I am gonna make sure my game is running straight.
Okay.
Alright. Alright, it's all good. Hold on.
Yeah, so everybody on the Discord chat that's just the class is commenting about playing Call of Duty, and I don't know, maybe next semester we could do a Call of Duty final, and if you lose, you fail. What do you guys think?
That would be the best idea ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Ben, can you get your stream going? There we go. All right. Yeah, where we could all play Counter-Strike. Okay, so you're live, so go for
see
it.
that?
Yep.
Alright. You guys just see this screen, I presume.
Yep.
So I can read off of the other one, okay? So, my name is Ben Cook. I'm a freshman. I'm most likely going to be majoring in computer science. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm from Tucson, Arizona, so Indiana's a little bit far away from me. And fun fact is I used to live in New Zealand. Overview of the project would be, it originally started as like a short story for an essay, and I started branching it out further And when the idea for a game happened, I was already thinking about doing like an astral-like game. Yeah, I just kind of decided to like fully commit to that, write a story behind it. The story is not in the game yet. I'm still having a lot of trouble. That's definitely been the biggest trouble, is trying to make it into like an RPG. You can choose different dialogue and have different endings. That would be my goal for this. But basically, the game is you are the daughter of an emperor in the Andromeda Galaxy, and you're just a starfighter who flies around and destroys the resistance, basically. But right now, all we have is so you got B to shoot. Now, I have been having some trouble with the enemy projectiles, like causing damage to me somehow when they don't hit my sprite. But yeah, so the game's kind of difficult right now. I'm still working through the right timing and the randomness. But yeah, that's where I'm at so far right now.
Okay, great. We have any questions from Twitch or from the rest of the class? Yeah, and I was definitely a big fan of the original Asteroids games or Space Invaders from, classic arcade back in the day. Great.
Yeah.
All right. So great. Let's. And Dr. Gates says he was excited to see that there's backstory. Backstory
It's
on.
It's coming soon. It's coming soon. I couldn't get to work for today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be my Christmas break project. So.
Great. All right. So let's see. We got Ben. So Mr. Jax, Cooper Jax, you're up next.
All right. Get this screen shared. All right. We live?
In just a second. And you're good.
Awesome. So, my name is Cooper Jax. I'm from a small town called Portland, Indiana, and I'm a freshman here at Wabash this year. I'm planning on majoring in German and minoring in history, and maybe double minoring in computer science. I'm not too sure yet. But as far as this project goes, I made this little agent guy here, my slave laborer, and build me this farm. Because now, in every single Minecraft game, you have to build a farm, and I figured, why not build something that can just do it for me? So he actually builds the whole thing too, but if I just type in harvest, he will actually go back and collect all of the wheat that he planted, and then I can go collect it from him in his inventory. Collects everything. Fortunately, I couldn't make him move any faster because he would end up burning the ground in front of him instead of just the plants, so I had to put little pause breaks in the loops. And obviously that was one of my challenges I ran into, was him just breaking the ground and or getting the items into inventory in the first place. But as you can see, I got a lot of wheat from that, and I could do plenty of things with wheat. And that pretty much sums up the project.
Okay. Great. So can you tell us about how much wheat you would need if you were actually in a Minecraft game? So like how much would this be able to sustain you basically indefinitely if or would it not be enough? Would you have to plant bigger farms?
Yeah, so the way it works is it's in creative, so I just give him like an infinite number of seeds and bone meal to grow and plant for this farm to run. So as far as survival worlds go, I don't think it would really work too successfully. But with that being said, if I gave him enough seeds and bone meal and whatnot, yes. And I could expand the farm further. This was just the showcase because it's a little quicker. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's either 2 or 3. I believe 3 wheat per bread. So yes, this could sustain you for quite some time.
Okay, great. All right, so My sister is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. My sister took German also, and so she's um, typing in German on the Twitch chat.
I'll have to see if I can go read it.
Yeah. All right, great. So let's keep moving on here. Jeremy, you're up next, my friend, Mr. Hargraves. All right, so that's Marshmallow 285. All right, so you are live. Go for it.
Can everyone see the?
Yep, we can see and hear you just fine.
Alrighty. So my name is Jeremy Hargraves. I'm a senior. I'm from Indianapolis. I'm a psychology major and English creative writing minor. And so the game I decided to make is called Monkey in a Forest, and it's just a really simple game where you monkey along the road. Just don't hit the trees, otherwise you restart. It's a little bit more tricky because, especially for my laptop, the arrow key is a little bit sensitive. And that also gave me the opportunity to talk with Dr. McKinney about creating a checkpoint system, so if I can reach these checkpoints, because I am not good at this my own game. Yeah, see, one of the aspects of this game, since it is a relatively simple game, and its programming is the game design. And so one of the problems I had was, one, the sprite size, because contacting these trees is really easy. So getting the right sprite size where you can move relatively easy, but not so easy where it's one go at the track. So then I'm trying to, it's right there. Gotta try to be careful. But that's probably one of my favorite things that I got to implement was this checkpoint system, if I can even get there. One of the things was playing with what is the outcome. So, a score system, a life system, because there is a sprite at the end, orange, that you reach it, you win the game. See, I hit a point. I figured the relative difficulty versus the simplicity of the game that I would just do a timer. I think that adds enough stress to the player, but it's not like so stressful. Yeah.
Yeah, so could you talk a little bit about the checkpoint system and how you implemented that?
So a bunch of additionals, I believe. So down here on the code, it says on sprite kind player overlap tree at location. Checkpoint equals 0, then place sprite on top of the sprite location on the tile map. And so once every time you hit one of the locations, it registers that as like the checkpoint location. So every time you run into a tree after you land on the checkpoint, it would bring you back to that checkpoint that had been registered. And so that was probably the most complex thing in this game, was just trying to make sure that there was a point system, because it's so easy to hit these trees that if you get super far on one run, which I want to give it a try, that'd be cool, but to hit a tree and then have to restart at the very beginning is very much. So that was an aspect of the game design where a checkpoint would have been. It is a really good system to have in here. And it's the simplicity of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and the checkpoints, you guys probably all remember playing things like, some of the newer Mario games where, like even the 16-bit Super Mario world, or Sonic the Hedgehog, where you can, if you make it halfway through the level, then you don't have to restart from the very beginning every time. Yeah, so Dr. Drury appreciates, seeing the back end, the code end of it here, and so yeah, this is actually a good example of what MakeCode and also Scratch, they look pretty similar. look like. It's all visual-based coding, and so you don't have to type everything from scratch, pun intended. Yeah. So all right, great. So let's move on to our next project. Um, Cole Borden, you're up next, my friend.
All right. Let's see here.
So Cole is a bold person. He decided to take 2 classes with me this semester, not just 1.
Yeah. All right.
All right, and you are now live. Go for it.
Good evening, Wabash brothers, Wabash enthusiasts, professors. My name is Cole Borden. I am a freshman planning on majoring in computer science. I'm from Peru, Indiana, and I'm a tennis player here at Wabash. And one fun fact about me is that I have absolutely no idea how to dive into a swimming pool. I've tried many times and failed all. So basically, my game here is kind of a Mario theme type game. So there's sound to it. I'll let it play. Plays the whole time, but I'll cut that. It gets annoying. But basically, what's going on here is I can jump with the space bar. You're basically trying to get to the end. If I hit this flower here, bee comes at me. I jump on top. You get 3 points. If you get hit by the bee or by the bee, you'll lose a point or like a health. So I'll show you that. I have 4 life. And then I'll go over. So I'll go over like spinning coin animation, how I did that. But I'll just try to game to take that long to finish. But basically, I had to animate the bee and the coins in kind of a similar fashion. And I can show how it happens. Then you don't want to hit the lava. And then there's a portal at the end that I'm almost through, and then basically the end of the game. I tried to do another level, but it had like a Stack Overflow error. I'm not sure what was on, but because I looked up and it still wasn't working. So there's the end of the game. So and then I'll just show you like how you die by jumping off here. Okay, and so that was basically the game. In the code itself, here's like the coin animation. So basically, you go from here's my coin, and then you just draw, and you make it thinner and thinner and thinner, and then going, and then kind of like a reverse. So you kind of just copy and paste and try to get like a, and you hit whatever frames per second or whatever time interval, and it kind of looks like it's spinning, which is kind of cool. And I did the same thing for the bee. Then I had to make my own little melody to make the sound. So here's the same thing with the bee. Yeah, I just did a flap and then flap, and it kind of looks like it's
so
flying.
you made those art assets yourself?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I mean, I looked up tutorials on how to do stuff, but yeah, I drew and made all this stuff. There's a lot of good tutorials though if you're ever stuck on anything on the Stack Overflow error, but everything else was easily fixable.
Great.
That was pretty cool. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. So let's switch back to the thing. So that was Cole. Canton Terry, let's go with you next.
All right, let me just figure out how to share my screen here. All right. Can you see my game screen?
It's loading. Give it a second. Still loading. Didn't we have this problem the other day?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I changed my quality here. I can't get any worse.
I had this same problem. It was because my settings weren't to where I could live stream what was on my computer screen.
All right. Well, Canton, we'll skip over you and then come back to you. Let's see.
I'll try.
Yeah,
try to
see if you
figure out
can
how to do
figure out
this.
what's going on there. All right, so Jonathan Hall.
Yes, sir.
All right,
That-
let's see what you got.
All right, so my name is John Hall, and I am a freshman here at Wabash. I am undecided in my major and minor. I'm from Gas City, Indiana. I don't know if any of you guys know where that is, but yeah, it's a small little town. Not a lot of people know where it is. Fun fact about me, I play football here at Wabash. I play middle linebacker. And well, my first here, let me just share my screen real quick. My first project idea was gonna be to create Balloon's tower defense, but you know, that it took a wrong turn. And I messed up on on Scratch. It's tough because if you mess up on one part of the coding, it could possibly mess up the whole game, and that is what I did. So instead of doing that, I kind of came up with a new idea to make a Flappy Bird knockoff called Flappy Griffin. I don't know. Can you hear the volume?
Yeah.
All right, good. I was making sure.
Yeah,
That was
turn the audio down just slightly.
And then I mean, it might look easy because the tubes don't go up and down like they did in Flappy Bird or anything like that. But I made it a lot harder because of the sprite of the Griffin. I made it bigger, so it's harder to fit through the tubes. Is the volume down a little bit more?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. And yeah, this game's actually pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. I played it like 50 times over just because I like Flappy Bird.
Now, is that like a flapping sound that I hear when you hit the up arrow or space or whatever? Or was that your keyboard?
That's probably just my keyboard.
Oh, okay. It sounded like it was a flapping noise.
Yeah, but like I said, one of the biggest issues with this game was trying to get the backgrounds to not go over each other. I finally figured it out. It was actually really simple. It was a lot simpler than I thought. It was because of my coding. I had to make sure that I had the backgrounds in the exact right order. And then I mean, honestly, it was also hard because I worked for like 2 days on one project, and then I had to completely forget about it and then come create a whole new one. I mean, this one is pretty fun though. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably the funnest game I've ever played on my computer.
Is there any particular reason you decided on purple pipes?
Purple pipes? I mean, not really. I just thought the purple pipes look kind of cool.
Yeah, great.
In the original game, it was green, so I just tried to switch it up.
Yeah, it was kind of green. Yeah. So so Dr. Dunaway says at its height there was a new Flappy Bird clone appearing on the iOS App Store every 24 minutes. Yeah, and they and the original Flappy Bird game author actually pulled it from the App Store. He was making just gargantuan amounts of money because it had ads in the game after you lost or whatever, and he felt so guilty about it that how it was basically ruining everybody's lives because they were getting so addicted to his game that he actually pulled it from the App Store and just just said forget it. Let's see. Yeah, Dr. Dunaway, $60,000 a day in ad revenue, which is just insane. It's like
crazy.
he went out and bought a money printer. So,
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of nuts. So, yeah. Oh, and Coy is adding. I forgot about that. That the original author was actually Vietnamese.
That's cool. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
Yeah, and he was saying that his inner Vietnamese mom was tearing him apart. So that's hilarious. All right, awesome. So let's keep going. Tyler, I think you're up next. Tyler Dreisens, sorry.
Well, all right, hold on. I'll share my screen. All right, so I'm Tyler Dreesens. I'm from Naperville, Illinois, which is like an hour away from Chicago. And what I'm planning on majoring in, I'm undecided currently, but I'm leaning towards computer science to major in. And can you see my screen?
Yep, you're good. Go for it.
How ironic is this? But
Yeah,
I
no
also
kidding,
made,
right?
yeah, a game like very similar to his, Jonathan's, which is Flappy Cat, and it's pretty based on the same idea, where mine seems to go a little slower than his, but the idea that mine's a cat and you really just fly, and then once you die, you takes you back to the starting screen. But some problems I faced and some were the idea, like, I'm sure Jonathan saw this too, like kind of when you try to switch the tubes to like move them around so it's like up or down. In my opinion, it made the game too complex, like the reaction time for the player, so I wasn't able to like fully react in time to move my character up to go through the tube. So I kept it steady at like kind of like a straight away. But like how Jonathan said, it's still very challenging. It's not the easiest because you have to like span that space bar kind of to keep it going straight and where you to score. But that's my game.
Yeah. So yeah, and just a bit of commentary that of course the original Flappy Bird on the iOS game store, right, was um, the even on an iPhone you had far more computing resources available to the game than you do in Scratch. So Scratch is running basically in a web browser, and even though you've got a full-blown computer, the amount of resources that the web browser can sort of marshal to run it is much more limited than what you could do with native game that you're running
Yeah,
on
for sure.
iOS or phone. And so the game design decisions that you have to make for Scratch are not the same as what you can do in iOS or anything else. Yes, and just a comment that it was completely random. I just randomized the list of names for the class. So it was completely random that we had our two Flappy Bird games right next to each other. And Coy, I'll let you do as a homework assignment. You can calculate the probability that that would happen, knowing that there were 26 people in the class. All right, and that brings us to Luis Sanchez. And then we'll go back and catch anybody that we had some technical difficulties with earlier. So Luis, go ahead and get your stuff sharing, and we'll switch over. See, I don't even see Luis connected. Did he get disconnected on us? Looks like it. All right, so let's see. Who did we had to skip over? Cam, did you get things straightened out?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and go now that you've got things working.
All right, sounds good. All right. Can you see my game?
Yep. And All right, you're good.
All right. Well, hello everyone. I'm Camden Early, and I'm a freshman and potentially majoring in computer science. I'm from Pendleton, Indiana. A fun fact about me is I can juggle. So my game here is just an enemy, a power up, and then a player. So the player spawns in the middle of the screen, and if it comes into contact with one of the enemies, a new player will spawn. Um, Within a certain amount of time, a fruit will pop up just like it did. If you get the first fruit, then you'll get an extra life. If you don't get the first fruit, then you only have 2 lives. But if I die here, I'll spawn in the middle again. After that, all the fruits are worth 15 points, so your score runs up a little faster. And with the number of enemies, the game gets a little harder. And something that was challenging for me was to get that extra life, to make it where if the first enemy died, or if the first player died and the second player died, then the third player would still spawn. To fix that, I just used a if then else and that I figured out pretty quickly that it would make it easier that I could just put if there was only 2 players and they hadn't come into contact with the overlap of the strawberry, then the third player wouldn't spawn. Something that I think is cool is the frequency of how the enemies spawn and how every enemy is different. There's no game that'll end up being the same. And I think that it gets very competitive. Me and my roommates played it for a little while, and it was challenging to get the score to run up just because when I was first making the game, the high score, I didn't know how to work the score. So the score ran up very quickly. So like if you see here, my score is like 3,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3,917. That's a lot higher than what you than 232. What you just got right there.
Yeah, so I don't know how to reset the high score, but if I could, that would definitely be interesting to see what the new high score would be. But me and my friends played it for a while, and it's very addicting. So that's my game.
Yeah. All right. Can you talk a little bit about the art style for kind of what yeah, the sort of look and feel of the different characters?
Could you hear the audio? I don't know. Was that
No, I
working?
think you had the game audio muted.
Oh, okay, I'll just play it again and talk about it. So
Yeah, there you go. Sorry.
here now.
For some reason, no, I can't.
Here, I think it's a.
Yeah, you may have to restart the stream part.
Yeah.
So you have to, yeah, hit stop sharing and then try it again.
Oh, I didn't hit share audio. Okay. Here we go.
All right, we'll try this one
No,
more
loud,
time,
so I'll just
guys.
play it for a second. Here now.
No, it's still not coming through. Not sure why.
Um,
Well, just describe what the sounds are. You know, that's okay.
I made the beat. It's kind of funny. Just a few melodies together, and then once you come into contact with the strawberry, it makes the classic ka-ching, like the power up sound, get some coins. Then when you come into contact with the enemies, it goes wah, 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 death. The enemies I drew, I didn't see the little gallery that you could pick from all your different enemies, and then same goes with the player. I kind of just liked how it looked. It looked like a space kind of guy, and then I don't know. I just like the way that the enemies look, so I kept them after I figured out how to change the type of enemies. So
Great.
where they came.
All right. Okay, so let's see. Do we have Lewis? Have you managed to make it back on? Let's see. We got Cam. Is there anybody else that we had technical difficulties with we need to circle back to?
Yeah, I can try if nobody else is.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay.
Canton.
Hopefully it works this time.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I'm not sure why it's not working because when I had my one-on-one meeting with you, it worked fine.
Did you quit and restart Discord or reboot?
Yeah, I did right after we had problems earlier.
Yeah, because I'm still getting the loading wheel, a spinning wheel of death.
Is there someone else that needs to go?
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can. All right, why don't you go ahead?
You can go ahead and
yeah, go ahead and Canton try again.
Okay. Were you talking to me or you in Cam?
No, you go. Who's
okay.
Who's you? RT. There you go.
This is RT. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen? The Tecmo Bells.
You're gonna have to switch. Right now, I'm seeing your Discord screen.
Okay. Whoops. Screen. How about now?
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
You had it. Okay.
All right, go
Okay.
for it.
Yeah. So I'm Austin Hall. I'm a freshman from Westfield, hoping to study financial economics. My game is Tecmobile. It's kind of a knockoff of Tecmobile, a little more Wabash, if you will. So I don't know if you can hear the audio if it's just through my headset, but there's a little melody that goes there. And basically, the concept of the game is to avoid tacklers for 4 downs or 4 tackles. If you're able to do that and reach the red end zone, then you score 7 points. The game gets progressively harder as going with enemies beginning to chase you, activating after each touchdown. And then there's kind of a fail safe once you get to a certain point where the enemies are faster, so the game doesn't continue on infinitely. So the first enemy will start chasing you after you leave the yellow end zone. So you see there, I have somebody coming after me now. And when I score, I get 7 points. The enemies that are already in the backfield will continue to come after me. And then I'll go ahead and lose real quick to show how that works. So, yeah, it's just a pretty simple game. Using controller to get across, and then the conditionals, of course, to keep things going beyond that. So, probably the biggest challenge for me working with this was just getting everything to run smoothly. At first, I had a lot of commands in the game to get the game to run off of each other. So you'd have to hit multiple buttons to get to it because I couldn't get the code to sit under one command. But I was able to get that to run a little more smoothly with the conditionals, especially later on with things playing off each other. And then also setting up the grid system so everything would run just off of where the sprites were at and show how if you reach an end zone, how it would affect the score, and then how those variables would affect other portions of the game as well. I talked about the grid system as being something that was really challenging, but I'm also really proud of it. I mean, from a non-coding standpoint, it took a long time to design, and then of course coding on top of that, setting up everything so that it would function and still look good, and then also just work with the conditionals, and I was really proud of getting that to work, how everything would play off of each other using multiple variables.
So we got a question from the Twitch chat. Dr. Drury wants to know how you created the Wabash and other colors from the alleged university to the south.
So in the make code, there's a gallery you can go into for the different sprites. I just clicked pixel by pixel, change it to yellow, and sadly, I have a lot of colors, so it was yellow and blue and yellow and black, but I think the point was got across.
Well, Dr. Drury certainly knew what each sprite was supposed to be. And yes, Dr. Drury, awesome job with the vocab. Yeah. All right, great.
I think I was able to get mine to work.
Okay. So go ahead.
Let's see. Hopefully.
It's still loading.
Well, poop.
All right. Well, why don't we do this instead? Instead of you streaming it, I'll stream it and you can narrate.
Okay.
All right. So let me go. Send me in a direct message link to it real quick.
Alrighty.
And I'll fire it up on my computer and.
All right. I think I just sent it to you.
Yep. Okay, so let me switch the input to Safari, window capture. Transform, fit to screen. Okay, so it looks like I'm live here. And all right, so just you start narrating, and I'll just drive around here.
All right. So to play the game, you use the arrow keys, and then Q and E will fire a projectile at the bats. Yeah, there you go. And then so when you hit the bats, they'll change back. They'll teleport to one of the lava patches, and if you hit the pink box, you teleport to another pink box to the other side of the screen. And the goal of the game is to collect as many fish as you can. And I guess I'd say it was inspired a little bit by Pac-Man, just with the map. And I kind of thought about Dig Dug a little bit when it came to the projectiles. I guess I didn't really introduce myself, but I'm Canton Terry. I'm a senior. I'm a psych major and bio minor. I'm from Clinton, Indiana. And I'd say the hard part about this game was figuring out how to get the bats to teleport somewhere that wouldn't end up right on top of the player. So I guess when you shoot the bats, you got to make sure you're not right next to one of the lava things because they can pop up right on top of you. There is audio when the bats are hit and when you fire and when you collect the fish. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not getting the audio. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not transmitting the audio. Well, you can just make sound effects for us. How about that?
All right. I mean, when you fire the projectile, it just kind of makes a pew pew sound. I'm not really sure how to pew pew. It's just when you collect the fish, you get a power up noise, and when the bats hit you, you lose a life, and you get, I think it's like a power down noise. And honestly, what took me a really long time was figuring out how to make the blocks walls so that the sprite couldn't just drive over the top of them, and I didn't know it was such a simple thing as clicking a button. But
yeah, it's a lot easier in Make code than it is in Scratch. Yeah, doing things like this in Scratch is a little more challenging. But other things are a lot easier in Scratch too. So it's all about trade-offs in terms of your different programming environments. So can you talk a little bit about why you put the spacebar fire with the red orange things, and then collect the fish, and then the little arrow here down here for the teleport?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure how to get the instructions to pop up, and I know a lot of people don't read instructions when they pop up anyways. So I wanted to make sure that people who played the game understood how to play it, and I think putting it right there in the game, it's kind of hard to miss what each thing does. And like I said, it was inspired by Pac-Man, and I think if there wasn't instructions right in front of you, you might not know that you can actually shoot at them, which you can't do in Pac-Man. So I just wanted to make sure that the players were able to take advantage of every part of the game.
Right, great. All right. Well, we'll go back to our loading screen. I'll close this. Let's see. Do we have? Let me go back to the server. Did we get everybody? I think that was everybody except Luis, and I don't see him connected, so I don't know what happened there. Was there anybody else that we needed to cycle back to, or have we gotten everyone? I'm going to take that as we got everybody. So Dr. Drury asked, is it a Star Wars style pew pew?
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And when you get hit by the bats, it's that Star Wars scream when the people fall down the big holes.
All right. Well, I think that's everybody. So we'll switch back to the webcam, and we'll just kind of conclude. So thanks everyone for coming. The guys have been working really hard on these for the last few weeks, and especially knowing that they were doing this instead of a lame final exam. So we'll go ahead and quit the stream here. And just as a reminder, Twitch will keep a recording of this for basically 2 weeks, and then right when this finishes, I'll upload it to the Math and CS Department YouTube page. You can just search on YouTube and find us there. And you can also find me on Twitch. It's Prof McKinney. And we also have a Math CS Department Facebook page. Just look for Wabash Math and Computer Science. Be sure to like and subscribe. Mash that like button. Yeah, so let's give our guys a round of applause. Everybody in the Twitch chat enjoyed it, and thank you, Caitlin, for coming and helping me with the moderation on Twitch. That looks like it went off without a hitch. And yes, Caitlin, you get to tell our parents about the disaster that is my office that you guys can all see behind me. It's finals week. That's my excuse. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks for coming. And we'll quit the stream here. See you next time.